What is up, guys? I know it's been a while since I made a video, and well, what can I say? I've been dealing with months of allergies, which you can probably still hear in my voice, that have just been killing my existence. But yeah, I need to get better. I need to be better at making these videos. So, I'm sorry. But who would have guessed that my very first video, my little rant about Gear 5, would actually be my best performing video? I mean, I haven't made that many in the year's time, but people still to this day are leaving comments on that video, which I guess just goes to show how passionate people actually are about One Piece, which is kind of cool. But since it's been a year since Gear 5 and 500 comments later, I thought I'd give a little bit of a retrospect on my feelings about Gear 5 since that time. Now, as we know, Gear 5 hasn't really popped up that much since Wano. It's only recently popped up, and only for a little bit, when Luffy was fighting Rob Lucci again, which we all knew Luffy was gonna just completely destroy this dude. That of course, right? There's no way at this point that, I don't care how strong Rob Lucci got, he wasn't gonna be able to handle Luffy. So wasn't bothered by that at all. But I still don't like it. I still don't like Gear 5. I guess I want to use this video to take a look at some of the criticisms to my ranty opinion, which it's interesting because one thing that all the comments told me is that I know I'm not the only person who feels this way about Gear 5. Some people feel very much like I do. Some people like Gear 5 but are a bit frustrated with it. Some people, oh yeah, I can understand and I can see why you wouldn't like it and things like that. And then you have people that are just totally against me writing full-on dissertations about how I'm wrong, which is fine. No hate there. But I did notice something very interesting, was that a lot of people, which I guess is common when you do things like this and you put your opinions out in the videos and things like that, where they are addressing arguments I never made, or misconstruing what I said, or hearing what they want to hear, or reading what they want to read. And that part is a little frustrating because I'm like, I didn't say that. I wasn't talking about that. I never made a mention of that. So for example, they'd say something about the whole sun god thing or the joy boy thing, like I was arguing that that was a problem. I never said anything about him being the next joy boy or him being the sun god per se was a problem. But I think the biggest pushback was people trying to retroactively apply things that Oda never did to justify Gear 5's existence. So for example, they would say things about, oh, well, Enel said that there was a god or something that looked like Gear 4 and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that was Gear 4, not Gear 5. And it's just really funny watching people tie themselves into knots to somehow justify that Oda planned this the whole time and didn't write himself into a corner. Simply put, there was no groundwork laid for Gear 5's existence, or that the Gomu Gomu fruit was actually the human sun god fruit and all that. None. Zero. When we were first introduced to the fruit, there was no particular extra security around it or anything like that. Luffy just found it and ate it, and they were all upset, reasonably so, because this was a devil fruit that they had that this little kid just ate. With all the crazy shit that Luffy did in his years as a pirate, we never got anything from the world government about, hey, is this the fruit we've been looking for? Is this that thing? No clues whatsoever about maybe there's something more to the Gomu Gomu fruit. Nothing. Nada, zip, zilch, zero. So sorry, your argument trying to backfill things just doesn't work. Let's take some examples from two of the other big three that did foreshadowing pretty well. Let's look at Naruto. Now, for all of the problems with Naruto post time skip and the absolute cliff that it fell off of regarding its other characters and the fact that Naruto and Sasuke became Super Jesus characters and they were blown up mountains and shit like Dragon Ball and completely lost the fact that this is a ninja series. But let's put that aside. Let's just focus on some foreshadowing. Take, for example, that Naruto is the son of Minato, the fourth Hokage. Now, when it was finally revealed, basically with that conversation between Jiraiya and Tsunade about how Naruto is like his father, which at that point it pretty much confirmed that it was Minato. It wasn't super shocking because Kishimoto had laid the groundwork and he had been laying breadcrumbs that he was his dad his whole time. Why? Well, one, he looks exactly like him, right? He looks exactly like him. Why would some random child just be chosen with this burden of housing the Nine Tails? Why would you just do that to a random child? Well, doing it to his own child makes a bit more sense. So like doing it to a random child don't really make no sense. The fact that nobody knew about Naruto's parents, right? They kept that a secret because of who his dad was. The fact that Naruto's teacher was the student of the fourth Hokage. You had the first Hokage, second Hokage, they taught the third Hokage, Hokage taught the Sannin, one of the Sannin taught the fourth Hokage, and then the fourth Hokage taught Kakashi, who then taught Naruto. And then, of course, it all culminates in Naruto being taught by the person that was closest to Minato. Taught him Minato's techniques. Signed him up with the Toad Scroll, just like he did with Minato. How Gamabunta, was it? Yeah, Gamabunta, when he was first summoned by Naruto, made comparisons to the fourth Hokage, right? Made comparisons to Minato. All of those things were leading up to, oh, this is his dad. And it was a fan thing. Fans were basically saying, oh, he's got to be his dad. It has to be his dad. So when that was revealed, that was like, oh, okay, cool. Like the fans were justified. It's like Jon Snow's origin, which hasn't been revealed in the books yet, but there are even more clues in the books than there were in the TV show about his parentage. There's more clues and things that are said regarding what had happened. Now let's take a look at Bleach in regards to Zangetsu. From the very beginning, Kubo had basically hinted that Ichigo's true power was his hollow, right? I mean, before we even knew anything about that, when he was fighting Kenpachi and their final strike, and Kenpachi has the skull aura, Ichigo's aura is a hollow mask. The fact that the hollow's always coming out to save him. When Old Man Zangetsu first said his name, it bleeps out. It doesn't tell, in the manga, I think it's blank. And then in the anime, it makes like a beep sound so that you don't hear his name. Now that could be because Ichigo at the time just couldn't hear the name of the Zanpakuto. But that could also be because of what happened with Yhwach. I just love saying that name, by the way, Yhwach. Kaien looking exactly like Ichigo. I know fans for a long time were like, is he a reincarnation? What's going on here? Why does he look so much like Ichigo? Well, turns out that they're his cousins, which, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. That's why Ichigo looks so much like Kaien, because, well, they're cousins. So Kubo, releasing this information later about Zangetsu, or releasing this information later about where Isshin is really from, is not like super out of nowhere shocking when you look at, oh, okay, that's why Kaien looks like Ichigo. And, oh, okay, well, if you look at sort of the hollow and all that kind of stuff, all the things that he said, it lines up with what's being presented later. And this is what Oda did not do with Gear 5. And then you just have the haterade hate comments, which are just stupid. Things that like, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch it or don't read it. And you're like, okay, yeah, buddy. Right. Okay, cool. Right. Big brain take there, that you can't have an opinion about something that you just aren't really feeling in something that you like, right? A particular direction that a story goes. You're like, I'm not really feeling that direction. Well, then don't read it. And you're like, okay, gotcha, buddy. Cool. But all this to say, a year later, yeah, motherfucker, I still don't like it. Still don't like Gear 5, but I do appreciate the passion between the people that do agree with me and those that don't, even if I don't agree with you guys that are vehemently protecting Gear 5. Also, damn, it's been a year and still no Gear 5 in the anime. That's just how long Wano was. It's like, Jesus Christ, man.